So I just had what you would call tonal whiplash. I just am getting back from seeing the best duo of two movies you could possibly see at the movie theater. No, it's not Barbenheimer. No, it is not the upcoming Doomsday. It was the Obsession Invite. So I saw Obsession, and then I saw the Invite back to back at my movie theater, and I've got some thoughts. And I'm gonna just talk off the cuff about them. Um, First off, seeing it the way I did, where it was Obsession first and then the Invite, highly recommend that if you're ever going to be as psychotic as I was with the decision to watch the movies right back to back. I would say definitely end with a palate cleanser. A little bit of a palate cleanser is going to be a massive bit of help. But yeah, let's some of my opinions, some of my thoughts. Let's start with Obsession. Um, Phenomenal movie. Um, it it's the kind of movie that when you watch it, you kind of you know what's happening, right? It's like a I wouldn't call it a slow train wreck, but it is a quickly deteriorating, but it's a quickly deteriorating situation that you already know from the moment that Willow Wish is made. It's absolutely disturbing. The themes of losing your autonomy. I care a lot about injustice, and seeing Nikki's character completely unable to control. I mean, she has her control has been taken away from her by Bear, and Bear knows the entire time that control is completely it, other than maybe the first few minutes, for the first night or whatever. Bear knows that is not Nikki, that is not real, that he is 100% continuing this cycle of abuse and taking away her own decision making. And I know it's like, okay, yeah, you get the basic principle, you get the basic point. You can't show your love to somebody if you are unwilling to bend, unwilling to compromise, and also unwilling to let go when you know the situation is not right. And Bear could constantly not do that. And also, like, come on. Bear, you could have avoided the whole thing. Like, Nikki gave you the opportunity in the very beginning to shut up, or to not shut up. You decided to shut up, and we could have avoided the whole thing, right? But just you're so cowardly throughout the entire movie. Bear never even knew about the relationship that Nikki had with her dad. But the two other side characters, Sarah and Ian, I want to say, might be wrong there. The two other characters obviously knew more of the relationship that Nikki had with her dad. Bear never seemed to really care about, Nikki and her life. Bear only seemed to care about the romanticized idea of Nikki. The filmmaking was amazing, and having Nikki be in the shadows so often, especially when you knew she was, basically not Nikki, an entity, something. That was so fascinating, so well done. Indy Navarrete, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I have not seen her in anything else. This was unbelievable performance, and I can't even say enough about how much she took a movie with a very solid plot and decent writing, and she just lifted it up to like another level. Just a phenomenal job from her. Overall, great movie. Loved Obsession. Would I watch it again? Probably not. I'll watch clips of it. It was disturbing. I knew coming into it would be disturbing. So then when I go to watch The Invite, and it is hilarious, but also kind of about a relationship not necessarily being compatible after a number of years. Hilarious. So well done. The blocking was awesome. Olivia Wilde did a phenomenal job directing, did a great job acting in it. Seth Rogen did a fine job. Edward Norton, Penelope Cruz, they were all really fun. It was a very human story. Um, the dialogue was extremely realistic. I felt like I was to go with this window idea again. I felt like I was looking through a window, seeing people's conversations. So awesome in that regard. There is a breakdown in their marriage after a number of years. They have a 12-year-old kid. There is a lack of accountability with a lot of their problems for themselves, and it was just fascinating to see in a movie sense this idea of a severe case of resentment that had absolutely grown over time in that relationship. And you could see it from legitimately like the first couple of scenes. You just knew that I just kept thinking to myself, where is this going to go in a positive way? And I do think there is beauty and there is a silver lining to take from most things. And at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, here's your next warning for The Invite if you haven't seen it yet. It was fascinating to see basically Penelope Cruz's character almost acts as a therapist and basically make Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen's characters confront their issues and why Seth Rogen's character has had so much back pain, but all of a sudden when he's not thinking about all of the sadness and the choices he's made to feel sorry for himself, he feels no back pain. And those choices that he's made, he didn't realize that those were his choices, and neither did Olivia Wilde. They both blamed each other for everything. And, Seth Rogen's this musician. I feel like everyone at some point in their life feels a little bit like a lack of professional progression, and maybe other things that have led him and, Olivia Wilde's characters down this path of just like not feeling satisfied in their life. And if you don't feel happy with where you are, and you're not honest about that communication breakdown, if you don't have those discussions with your significant other, that can lead to resentment. And that's exactly what we saw in this movie. And it was cool that the end of the movie, while they kind of both agreed that the relationship is over, the last few minutes was just Seth Rogen's character refinding his love to play piano, even if just for a few moments, something that had been a plot point of the movie where he hated the piano. It was everybody had to walk around on eggshells around that piano. And that was almost like a allegory, a simile, if you will, for his lack of satisfaction in his own personal life. But now that he and his wife kind of came to they communicated, and they kind of said exactly where they are in their relationship, which might be over, he kind of has no more back pain, and he's starting to play the piano. And through the window, Olivia Wilde's character sees him and then joins in with a little bit of piano playing. And after the piano's done, she kind of rests her head on Seth Rogen's character, Joe, I believe's shoulder, and that's it. Just a few minutes of piano playing. I love that it's unresolved. You don't know if they're going to try and make it work. I don't think they're going to be able to, as Penelope Cruz's character said. That not only can you have relationships with other people after a relationship, but you can also have different relationships with the same person. I thought it was so interesting doing this double, right? This back to back of of Obsession to The Invite, because they both deal with relationships and love and what it means to be honest. Honest in relationships, honest with yourself. And one, we see an absolute breakdown in what honesty is to both yourself and to others, and also taking advantage of a situation that is no longer a two-way street, it's a one-way street. And to The Invite, where we see that breakdown happen so visibly, and we get a look into this private life. It was almost like the a different version of Marriage Story in a way, from a number of years ago. I wouldn't go as far to say it's exactly like it. The grand strokes of like, this is a relationship that is failing, and it doesn't go to the same grandiose levels that Marriage Story went to, which is not to say a bad thing. Not at all. I think The Invite is a phenomenal movie. But I think it's pretty interesting to see this breakdown of a relationship with understanding. I would say like the biggest thing I've learned from watching these two movies back to back is one, maybe don't do it if you don't want to get this tonal whiplash, but if you're into this tonal whiplash, then do it. Two, and the main thing is that you have to be happy with who you are for someone else to feel the attraction to you, and for you to be able to provide it vice versa. To provide that love, to provide a person that would want to be with another person. And even then, sometimes it isn't what happens, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. As long as you are authentic and true to yourself and make the choices that you would be proud of for yourself, when you really look from a top-down angle, those are things that I feel like we all can take some lessons from. Otherwise, you might get murdered, or cause the murdering, or commit your own murders, or be an accessory. Man, Obsession is a crazy movie. There were no murders in The Invite, just so you know. But yeah, I don't do this. I don't review movies. I would, if I gave them both a score, I'd give them pretty similar 4 out of 5s or 4.25s. They were great movies. Go see them. Yeah. So that's all I got for you. Peace.